readers. My name is Dawn Houston. I'm the coordinator for Booktrib's book club program. I'm here today with Richard Garrett to talk about his new book, U.S. Education is in Trouble. Let's Fix It, 22 Reform Proposals. Based on years of extensive research, Richard has proposed 22 possible solutions. Richard's book is one of the books taking part in Booktrib's book club program for September. Thanks for taking a few minutes of your time. Welcome. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We're going to dive in because I know we only have 5 minutes, but I'm really curious. You've invested so much time into researching the U.S. education system. What led you down this path originally?
Well, it's a little bit of a long story. I'll try not to take too long, but I was a busy businessman, and then I became a professor, and I was busy at that. And in early 2000s, I decided to quit. And that made me available. And my son started calling me on his way home from school. He was a fourth grade teacher in a inner city Indianapolis school. And as the years went by, it was appalling to me what I was hearing, and I didn't like it at all. In 2012, their school was officially graded F by the state of Indiana. They negotiated it up to a D. And I was a very available facilitator. I've done a lot of facilitating. And I said to John, our son, I said, hey, I like to come out there and talk to your teachers about what it's like to teach in your school. And that was in September. And he said, told me back, they don't want to do it. They're afraid of getting crosswise with the administration. So I forgot all about it. I was not sitting around wanting to do a lot of work on education. Actually, I was working on climate change. And in March, he called me up and said, Dad, they're fed up. They want to talk. So I went out there and we started a team. And one thing I've learned over the years is the more you know about education, the worse it gets. And that's kind of damning, but it's the fact. So we've got real troubles in this country. So anyway, that's how I started. It was all just serendipity. So
After years of experience or research doing it into this, that you've come up with 22 possible solutions that you think could help fix it and fix this.
Yes, I do. Well, as I talk about the book, one of the first things I want to point out is you were mentioning research, and that's what it was. I did research, but I've written a book for the general public. It is not it's got data in it and some charts in it, but it is written for the common person as opposed to some educational intellectual in an ivory tower. So hopefully it'll, and the people that I am around that are my friends that are reading it are giving me really good feedback about it. It's not a horrible read. So, why would somebody want to read this book? Well, statistically, 58% of Americans are very concerned about our education system. So if your book clubs have people that are very pro-education and they're perplexed at this gigantic, monstrous system and then how to attack it, my book will help you get through that. So that's one of the reasons. My wife, all along in these many years, I'm writing basically negative stuff, bad data, bad test results, and so forth. So she says, Dick, come on, people don't want to hear any more of that. Tell us how to fix it. And so I set myself upon that task, and I think I've done it. The book is 148 pages of body. It's about 200 pages altogether, but in terms of what somebody reads. And my book review that has come out says it's not a bad read. It's actually a pretty quick read.
Yeah.
And I have 17 chapters, and we cover many of the facets of education. You know, the unions, the teachers, the structure of the schools. And one of my most important chapters is titled, How Did All of This Begin? And that should intrigue some people because it happened in the 70s. And it was part of what turned into every kid gets a trophy movement. And I think the schools are kind of implementing that same thing. Let's don't let anybody down.
Yes, I've seen that more and more over the years, actually, even here. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, 47% of our seniors graduate with an A average in America, so that's not so good. My book is in a class by itself. I have yet to find in all my searching anything that comes close to putting it in a compact package, pointing out the difficulties and then explaining what we can do about it.
Yeah.
What we can do about it sometimes can be very difficult. Sometimes it's not going to be so hard, but it is a hard slog for somebody. And what I'm trying to do is organize the state chambers of commerce in America to pick this up, because I think they have the vested interest above all other people, except parents, of getting this thing fixed. So that's the book in a nutshell. So
it makes such sense too that it would be ripe for a book club discussion, because education is relevant to all of, to everyone.
yeah, and actually, from a marketing point of view, I don't think the timing could be much better, because there's just wave after wave of negative commentary here in America about education, and it's all true, unfortunately. So anyway, so I hope you guys can choose my book, and I hope you can read and benefit from it, and then start to organize your communities to move in some of the directions that I'm recommending.
We're talking about some pretty deep stuff with your book. So as we wrap this up, I was wondering, as a palate cleanser maybe, or maybe a complimentary book, what would you recommend? What's been the best book, fiction or nonfiction, that you've read in the last year?
Well, it's a nonfiction book, and I am a very curious person, and I've always wanted to know about DNA, recombinant DNA, and so forth. So I bought The Code Breakers by Walter Isaacson.
I've heard of it.
It's the story of a whole bunch of people, but Jennifer Doudna gets most of the credit. She and a French gal, and they both won the Nobel Prizes. So the book is really well written, and each chapter brings in more people, and you see people after people after people have played in this game, but unfortunately they didn't get much notice. The two ladies got the Nobel Prizes, and rightly so. They were persistent, they never gave up, and they kept trying and trying, and they finally developed CRISPR, which is manipulation of genes. So that's the book that I benefited from the most. I usually read to learn, not just to pass time. Read lots of books on education. So
that does not surprise me at all.
Yeah, that's enough of that. Oh.
Well, hopefully our readers pick your book and follow through with that. So thank you. We're going to wrap this up. So thank you for your time. For more information about Richard's book, please check out the book club page on the booktrib.com website.